Welcome to the 5-day life purpose challenge. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. I was on another event earlier in which, I'm going to pin this, in which I was speaking on a different microphone and I forgot to change it over. Thank you, Diana, for pointing that out to me. This is day 4. The first day we set our intentions. The second day we made commitments. The third day we looked at resistance. And today we're going to look at the vision. A lot of us have a tendency to have a small vision. We feel safer with a small vision. We feel like, well, if we don't ask for too much, then we won't be disappointed if it doesn't work out. Or if we don't ask too much, maybe the universe will give it to us. However, my experience is the bigger the vision, the more likely it will take place, that you are activating an energy source. And so you have to think big in order to attract the support and energy you need to fulfill it. When I made the decision that I was going to make a documentary film series, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I had done some TV shows, some, community access TV shows, but I'd never made a documentary, had no idea what I was doing. And the first time I went out all by myself because I didn't want to spend the money and I didn't know how to attract people to help me. And the first interview was totally worthless because the woman was off the screen most of the time. As I started to become more and more committed to what I was doing and willing to evolve, willing to learn and adapt based on my lessons, that's when things started to take off. So that's part of the resistance, is sometimes we give up too soon. And sometimes we don't have a big enough vision. I didn't have a big enough vision. My original idea for the film series, which was called Secrets of Life and Death, was to make one film. But I got so caught up in interviewing people that pretty soon I had the materials for 3 films. And did I want to make 3 films? Oh no, I was scared out of my mind. And I felt compelled to honor each of the people that I interviewed. They became part of my commitment. And so I created those 3 films. And it took many, many years. So when you select your vision, when you select your goal, you want it to be long lasting. You want it to excite you when you wake up in the morning. You want it to excite you and energize you so that you do the next thing that you need to do. So I was thinking about yesterday about some of the ideas I've heard for what to do with the last part of your life. I know some of you out there are like me. You're aging and you've already put a lot of work in and you're like, I want to kind of slide. I want it easy. I don't want to work too hard. Well, as I was saying yesterday, your body needs to be challenged and your mind needs to be challenged. You can start small with an idea, but in this exercise, you want to take a moment to grow that vision, to think of what would it be like if you were to put it on steroids. That is to, pump it up with an air pump, double it, triple it, multiply it by 10, and what would the vision be? So that's what I'm asking from my people. I'm going to check and see if anybody's out there in Facebook land and see if anybody's posted anything. Not yet. I'm going to write a thing here, please post. So if you were to multiply it, what would it be if you were to take it bigger? Then I think that I told one of the people who was coming to the question answer session, well, you could just be part of the healing, send out healing every day. The world certainly needs healing. The world needs all of us to step up and help to be part of the solution. So what can you do What can you do to be part of the solution? I told a story yesterday about a woman I met who looks older than me, and she has a podcast, and she is speaking to people all over the world. She connected with a man who has, I guess, a Twitter list of thousands. And she's one of the things that she talked about in this keynote that I listened to was about listening, learning to listen to other people. Now, isn't that beautiful? If we learn to listen, wouldn't that take care of a lot of the problems we have in this world right now? So going back to that idea of sending out healing, how could you magnify that? How could you blow it up a little bit? I was giving it some thought, but I'm going to wait and see if my fellow person on this call has some ideas. If you were to send out healing to the world, how could you amplify that? How could you make it bigger? So one of the things you could do is you could do it 3 times a day instead of just once a day. You could go on the internet and find out about people that maybe need your healing and make a list of names. Maybe you could enroll other people in your vision. Today, I did a speech at my Toastmasters Club about leadership. Not the old garden variety, top-down leadership, but what I call leadership of the heart, where you lead because you are serving. And you enroll people in your vision because you are committed to it. And you inspire other people to get engaged. And you also let them get engaged in the way in which they want to be engaged, so that they're utilizing their leadership of the heart as well. And so I shared my experience of leadership and how you can inspire people to move forward and help you to create your vision. Now, it can start small. It could start as small as reaching out to family members or reaching out to your friends. We always think that, I don't know, we have to go on Facebook Live or and find strangers. But actually, the people that are most likely to support you are your own friends. The people that you actually know. And you kind of feel a little bit shy. Oh my gosh, they're going to question me. But they really are your best people. And so after I gave my speech at this Toastmasters Club, one of the members, a person I've known for a very long time, said, "Oh, I want to come to your master class tomorrow," which, by the way, I do have a master class tomorrow. And so those of you who have not been coming all week long, you've been too busy. I understand. Life is busy. You can just come to the master class, and I will review a lot of the stuff that I covered today, of course, not all of it, and help you to identify what your next steps are to moving your vision forward. So back to that healing idea. How can you be of service? How can you help heal the world? How can you get other people on board? Maybe you're part of a church and you can invite other people in your church community to, at a certain time of day, send out healing to all the world. I've been doing my own energetic healing every morning for probably 2 years now. And it started because one of my clients had a husband with a very serious illness. And I wanted her to do well. So I started praying for her husband. And he's still alive. He's actually doing pretty good. In fact, they're moving right now. And then I added other people on to my list. Another coach who got cancer, and the mother-in-law of, the mother of my sister-in-law, who also has cancer. And I just add them to my list, and I send out energy, and I think of each of them, and I say their names, and I send out that energy. But wouldn't it be more powerful if more people were doing that? And maybe they added more names. And maybe you can't go through all the names, or maybe you just write them down and you hold that list and you send out the energy. And then you think about your future vision. What do you think you might achieve, or where would you be in 5 years? If you listen to the training in the morning, it takes you through a process of future visioning. It's an opportunity to get out of the left brain, and into your higher self, and allow that part of yourself and your future self, because in many ways we live in multiple realities at multiple times. So you connect with your future self. You imagine what she's looking like, what she's doing, and ask her for advice. What do I need to do to get to where you are? And this helps your vision. It magnifies it. It creates a bigger canvas on which to paint your picture. Okay, so what else am I going to talk about here? So some of you are in that last phase of your life. What do you want to create? What do you need to do? Now, I'd suggested to one person that healing other people on the planet might be a worthy cause. But do you have something closer to home that's really valuable to you? Do you want to leave, what's the term? An ethical will. If you don't have a lot of money to leave, or even if you do, you might want to leave an ethical will. And if you really took it on as a project, what kind of beautiful thing could you create which shares your life journey, what you've learned, and what you hope that your survivors take away from you? In fact, you might even write your obituary and say, how would I like to be remembered? What kind of a person? Now, one of my clients, when she first started working with me, she revealed that one of her sons said that her obituary would be, she worked really hard. Is that the obituary you want? That's not the obituary I want. I want people to have been inspired and to have been empowered by their connection with me. And maybe had some fun too. Maybe been stimulated to do something more than they ever thought they would do. So you who are here with me today, thank you very much. What is your vision for your final phase? And how can you multiply it? If you go ahead and post it, I will try and come up with some other ideas. Oh, and that reminds me, when you get into higher states, your higher self, your spiritual self, you tap into a creative realm. And that actually helps you to think of great ideas. I get some of my best ideas after I've meditated for about 20 minutes, sometimes in the middle of the meditation. That helps me to get out of that mindset that says, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's too much work. Oh, you're too tired. And get into that creative place. And when you're in that creative place, it energizes you. You actually have the energy to take action. And of course, when you take action, the universe starts to respond to your taking action. Okay, so my next question is, maybe you're not willing to share what your vision is, or what it would be like if you were to multiply it and by 10 times. But ask yourself, taking your what you think your purpose is for the next number of years, and you've amplified it. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel inspired? Does it make you feel excited? Does it energize you? Or do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel resistant? This is the question I have for you. How are you responding? How is your body reacting? Now, remember, or maybe you don't know this, but let me clarify this. There is that higher self, that spiritual self, that who you really are, brilliant self. And then there is the body and there's the brain. And the body and the brain were programmed when you were a child by the expectations and demands of your caregivers or parents. And I'm not bashing parents. They do the best they can, but oftentimes they make mistakes based on what they were taught as children. And it just kind of repeats itself generation to generation, unless you happen to be one of those people who say, no, it stops here. I'm going to do the work I need to transform this pattern. So what are some of the patterns? So some of the patterns are that we feel like we have to please other people, that we have to do what other people want. And so when we think about our vision, it creates an agitation or fear because we don't want to upset other people. Maybe it's your partner or your spouse or your children, and they don't want you to do crazy things. I know that my mother-in-law used to go every Sunday and hang out on the highway with other people in her Unitarian church and hold signs declaring a support and a stand for peace. And she did this every Sunday. And I'm sure her husband thought she was totally Looney Tunes. But that was her way of taking a stand, saying, this is what I believe in. And how wonderful it must have felt for her to be with other group of people taking a stand and saying, we want peace. And wouldn't that energetically start to change the world? So I'm waiting. Let me see if there's anything over here. Please post your questions. Whoops, I forgot to hit return on this. Are there any questions that you have about your purpose? Did you do the training this morning on future visioning? And what did you learn from that? Please share how that has expanded you. Now, what I have found in the course of this week is, my own journey about my purpose. The universe is constantly giving you responses to your effort, to your action. And there is a part of us that likes to say, oh, the universe is saying, forget it. It's not working. I know I have that part of myself that says, oh, I don't want to do all this work. Look, only one person showed up to my QA session. Why am I even bothering? And then I go somewhere else and I get affirmation. I get somebody who says, oh, wait a minute, I like what you're doing. Oh, I have some place where you need to speak to thousands of people. Okay, I'm in. I'm still here. Thank you, universe, for, giving me that extra boost, because we do need that boost. I would have never finished my film series if I didn't have that extra boost from the universe saying, yes, please move forward. You need to move forward. You've made a commitment to these people and you have to create these films. It's part of your purpose. And back then I was really a lot more scared than I am now, because I was afraid I would fail. I was afraid that here I had taken these people's time and that maybe I would produce a terrible film. That's when I decided I needed to hire an editor and a music composer and get that sound really fixed up, because I was committed. So I got a message, great exercise, life-changing decisions take time to process, especially after significant life experiences. Life sometimes calls for a pause to recognize 10 times is not possible at this time. Healing takes time. Yes, healing does take time. And sometimes you will find that taking action is the process of healing. And sometimes, yes, you have to sit and not do anything. I have a client who just recently went through major intense surgery, and she literally had to lie on her back for 6 hours. It was excruciating because she actually has a bad back. So yes, sometimes you just have to wait for that healing to occur, and we cannot be too precipitous or have push too hard. So one of the things that you want to do is not push. How can you do things with greater ease? That's a really good process. Okay, I have this idea. How can I do it with ease? How can I make it easier for myself? Personally, I'm a very social person. I like other people. And I find that when I do things with the assistance of other people, it energizes me. So when I was making my film series, getting a man or a person to be my videographer was huge, because suddenly half the burden was off my shoulders. And then I started getting a sound person, and I got a PA. And then of course it was the person I was interviewing, and I had a whole team. And being with other people who were on that same vision really move it forward. And so I got all this video recorded, and then what was I going to do with it? And I started editing it on my own. And every time I would get feedback from somebody, I would change the edit. And my husband finally said, stop changing it. I liked it that way. And then I went and I got an editor. And that helped, because then we interacted with each other and we charged each other. And that's when I was able to create something that was really fabulous. So this week has been wonderful to reinforce this pause, yet also know that when gathering energy, fill vessel now have tools to begin the process. So I hope you come back tomorrow for the mastermind. It's going to be a little bit longer, but it's going to be a review, and there's going to be some really, really valuable information. And also we're going to discuss what the next steps are, what you can do to move your vision forward. And I would love it if you would post your vision if you have one right now. And I'm so glad that you took this pause. We need to take a pause once in a while and say what's going on. In fact, you want to take a pause every day. That's when you tap into that higher mind and release the creative force of the universe. You allow it to flow, channel through you. I did this morning a video, which is going to appear on my YouTube channel, called the particular series is called Your Great Human Adventure, talking about how to tap into your brilliance, what kind of action you can take to activate that higher mind in yourself. And there are so many different ways. You don't have to just sit quietly, although there's nothing wrong with that. Sit quietly and try and stop your brain, which is probably like trying to stop a locomotive. But there are ways. And so I talked about some of those ways, like slow movement and breathing, or dancing, or chanting. I didn't mention chanting. Chanting is another way. One of the things that I love to do is to breathe deep and slow, and to pause between the breaths. And what I find is that when I pause, and you hold your breath before and after your inhale, that you become really focused in the moment, because your body is kind of like on alert. Oh, is she going to breathe again? Uh-oh, is she going to breathe again? Please breathe again. And you wait a little bit, and then you do it. And so you really focus on that physical process, and it really works for me. So yes, good for you. I would love to know what kind of dance class you went to. Dancing is a wonderful way to connect to divine, to connect with your body. One of the things that I talk about in the Great Human Adventure, Your Great Human Adventure, is that connection that you want to make between body and brilliance, which is the term I use for the higher source or higher mind, that we're in this world to live and experience it, not to hang out on a mountaintop, not to go necessarily, sometimes you want to go into retreat, but not to live in retreat. We're here for a reason. We are here to accomplish something. There is something written in our soul that we need to accomplish while we're here. It might be personal growth. It might be influencing somebody else. It may be right around the corner that you have something to give somebody that is going to change their lives. So what do you have to offer to the world to help change it towards our total evolution? Each one of us is essential. You are all essential. So we have 3 minutes left, less than 3 minutes left, 2.5. Do you have any questions? I'm going to check my, no questions in there. Take a breath. Congratulate yourself. This is another key to the Great Human Adventure. You want to reward yourself. You want to acknowledge. Bodies love to be acknowledged. They love to be reinforced. That's why when the universe comes out and sends you a message that says, yes, you're doing the right thing, you go, yay, okay, I'm here, I'm still here, yay. So sometimes you have to do your own rewarding. So you might take a moment to ask yourself, well, what would a reward look like for me? Yes, walking on the beach after that. Yes, I love it. I'm going to take a walk myself, although probably not right after this. I do absolutely have to leave at 1:30 because I have a call right after this. I can't believe that somebody can schedule the call right after this, but I will have to do that. So yes, rewarding. And if that's rewarding, walking on the beach, and oh my gosh, are you like living near the beach? I am so jealous. That is so wonderful. I love the water. And I am so grateful. I don't know where you live. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I do have access to the water. Thank you for your time this week's activities. I'll be here tomorrow. Yes. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. And the rest of you out there, be brilliant. Come back tomorrow, and bye for now.